Welcome to the City of Manistee Planning Commission for a meeting of October 3rd, 2024. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please take roll.
Commissioner Schmansky,
Present.
Commissioner Yoder,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner,
Here.
Commissioner Member 2,
Here.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes, here.
Vice Chair Slavinsky,
Here.
and Chair Whitliff.
Here, thank you.
Maybe I'm here and maybe I'm not.
Approval of agenda. At this time, the Planning Commission can take action to approve the September 5th, 2024 agenda. Is there a motion?
I'll make,
Motion by Shelley, second by Mick. Discussion? None, please take roll.
Commissioner Schmansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Yoder,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner,
yes.
Commissioner Member 2,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
Vice Chair Slavinsky,
Yes.
and Chair Whitliff.
Here, yes, I'm sorry. Thank you. Conflicts of interest?
Sure.
This time the chair can ask if there's any members that have any conflicts of our agenda tonight. And if you do, please speak up. Any? None? Okay, beautiful. Approval of minutes. At this time, the Planning Commission can approve the August 1st, 2024 meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion.
By Bob, second. By Roger. Discussion? None? Please take roll.
Commissioner Schmansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Yoder,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner Member 2,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
Vice Chair Slavinsky,
Yes.
and Chair Whitliff.
Yes, thank you. Correspondence. Correspondence has been shared with the Planning Commission and will not be read aloud. Okay, presentation, Mr. Steve Brower of Industrial Development Corporation.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity to come talk to you about the Industrial Development Corporation, or the IDC as we refer to it as. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the IDC. It's been around since probably the late 1950s. During that time, they sold stock and raised quite a bit of money to help invest in corporations that were coming to Manistee. And their main goal was to look for manufacturing jobs. And I think over the years, they had, some success at doing that. Most recently, though, things have changed. I don't think GM's going to be coming to Manistee.
GM.
But we did change our focus a little bit. We are still very interested in supporting job growth and helping companies that are going to do that. And the job growth might be from tourism or retail or service jobs. It's not going to always be in the manufacturing. So we have changed our focus a little bit on that. Over the last few years, we have made some investments in a couple companies. We've made some loans and a grant. So we'd like to think that has made a difference in those companies' success. One of the things we do is we don't look at ourselves as a primary lender, like a bank where you might go get your 80% mortgage, or you might get a great big equipment loan or whatever it is. We don't typically look at ourselves doing that. We look at ourselves more or less as a gap lender. We fill the gap that there's a need, might be as a result of didn't have enough down payment for the bank, or maybe the appraisal didn't come out right. Could be any number of reasons, but we tend to come in as a piece of the project. We'll be subordinated to the lender if there's a lender involved, so it works out as a win-win for pretty much everybody. So we've been doing that. One of the things we did do, I'll remind people, is that a few years ago we had that pandemic. How could we forget that? Terrible time. A lot of businesses were struggling to keep the doors open or just to pay the rent. The IDC, we did grant a bunch of money out for that. We made 2 grant cycles for it. We also had some money given to us by another organization, and we approved the grant request back. So several thousands of dollars was given out back in 2020, 21, 22. So we're pretty proud of that, that we helped a lot of companies keep the doors open. The IDC, we are still in business. We have money to lend. We probably have about $1 million in investments right now. We have $500,000 in loan receivables. So if there's a project that you hear of or you think might be a good fit for us, we appreciate any consideration you might have in referring that to us, because we are always looking for ways to invest our money. When that money gets paid back, we can turn it over and keep relending in the community. So, and I would also say our interest rates are maybe a little more competitive than some organizations, so there's another advantage for that as well. I am also involved in another organization. I'm going to take the opportunity to just briefly mention this. I don't know if you've ever heard of Venture North Funding and Development. It's a community development financial institution, CDFI. I've been working with them for a few years. We're a nonprofit organization. We look to make loans to businesses and individuals that are in underserved communities. There's a lot of area in the northwest quadrant, Michigan, that has not been serviced as well as they should be by lending institutions and what have you. The companies and the individuals really struggle getting financing. We're able to take care of that because we can be a little more nimble, flexible in our approach to these people. So we've been doing that for probably about 15 years. Manistee, obviously I live here and I'm trying to focus more of our attention here, provide those funds. But we've been doing it for a number of years. I don't know, we emphasize job creation. We've created hundreds of jobs over the last 15 years, and we've lent several millions of dollars out, as well. So I'm going to give the chair some rack cards if he would be kind enough to share that with the board.
Thank you.
At your leisure, feel free to take a look at it. But again, it's a way for us to provide financing to people that are not able to get conventional financing at the banks. We do loans that have flexible terms, repayment programs. We do subordinate to the primary lender, which is a big help. And I think our underwriting guidelines are a little bit different from the banks, so it makes us able to help a lot of people that normally would not be able to get those services given to them by the lenders. So in closing, I'd like to thank you for inviting me here. We have a couple great programs, the IDC, Venture North. We have funding available for Manistee City, the county, and we have, we're looking for an opportunity to help as many businesses as we can. With that, I'd open it up for any questions if you have any.
Okay, anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, go ahead, Roger.
First of all, I haven't not heard of IDC. How do people know about you to come to you? I mean, do you advertise or something?
I've been on the board for a few years, and that has been challenges. I think originally when it was earlier in its development, I think a lot of the manufacturers in the community knew about it and so forth. But I think since things have changed, our focus has changed, I think we could do a better job on that. We've talked about getting a website, promoting it. And one of the reasons I'm here tonight is to mention it, and the more people that get to know about it, the better.
Yeah.
But I agree, maybe it's one of those secrets that should be.
We had a young lady in here looking to start a business of
Daycare.
yeah, and she couldn't raise $1,000, and going back and forth trying to find somebody. Now, could she come to you and ask your company for this?
Yes, that probably would be a better fit for the Venture North program. We have one of the programs that we're emphasizing is daycare. Daycare
Yeah, daycare.
in northern Michigan has a huge need.
Yes, that's true.
That's what we're trying to focus a lot of our attention on, so we've been doing some different things. So that would be a great fit for
I don't
us.
know how she made out, Teresa, do you ever know?
Nope.
I'll have to find out. And then one other question, if you don't mind, I just
Yes,
see
sir.
a paper about old Fab Lake. Is there anything you could have done to help that, stay here?
Well,
And you know what I'm talking about?
yeah, I do. I just sort of heard about that myself.
Yeah, I just,
And, so maybe, but you know, there's probably more to the story than.
yeah, yeah, I hate to see the jobs, but.
Yeah, me too. That the Payne family have been a big part of our community.
Thanks, Mark, that's it, bud.
Okay, yep, go ahead.
You don't have an address or anything. Do you have an office here in town, or?
No, ever since COVID, Marlene, we seem to be working, you know, remotely like a lot of people. So with my computer and cell phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
Have that travel, right? So, but there's my business card. It does have the contact information there, so. All right. Oh,
One question. Are either organizations working with any companies to provide housing, which is obviously another one of our significant shortfalls in Manistee?
you know, the IDC, we're gonna be meeting, with the mayor here shortly to talk about some of their plans for the city, so, you know, maybe that might be a possibility. The IDC, or the Venture North, the funds that we have, we try to make those, our capital's kind of limited, Mick, so we try to turn it over as quickly as we can, get the money paid back within 5 years or so. So we hate to tie it up for the 20,
Housing.
30 years for housing, but there might be a way we could take a little bite out of that project and do a smaller portion. So, but housing and daycare, those are the two major
Yeah, well,
things that have a need in our area, and
all right.
so we are trying to do whatever we can to promote those.
We'll have to check on that, on that girl, see how
Yep,
she made out.
Ashley. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
that'd be the, okay, thank you, sir.
all right,
Or, yeah.
Have anything? Thank you, Steve.
yep, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along, public comments on agenda-related items. Is there anyone in the audience that has any comment on the agenda? I just want to add this, all comments and handouts from the speaker at the podium will go through the chair. Also, if there will not be any interaction between the podium and the audience. If these rules cannot be followed, the chair can adjourn the meeting, and there is a 5-minute limit, so. Okay.
I'm Bruce Matthews, 63 Arthur Street, Bayview Condos. I've got a letter I'd like to read, and I've got 10 copies of my letter, if you would like to follow along.
No, thank you.
I'm a Bayview condominium owner. I'm also past president and still presently on the board. There's several back row Bayview people, a couple of board members back there. We live south of the proposed Lakeside Social Club. I'm not opposed to the proposed development overall, at all. The building, that's a big improvement, big improvement. I am opposed to some of the items depicted on the present plan, and I wish the commission members to address, and they are as follows. Parcel 51-101-27508 is the sliver of property between the Pizza Building and Manistee Lake. This parcel has a restrictive covenant which declares no part of the restricted property shall be used for other than residential purposes and all accessory uses incidental thereto. The declaration shall continue perpetually and shall constitute a covenant running with the land. This declaration is in the 18 deeds of the Bayview condo owners. During the October 1st Manistee City Council meeting, the developer was requesting brownfield redevelopment monies. I was there and publicly requested of the council that the sliver parcel not be part of the brownfield request due to the restrictive covenant. Developer Bridget Vanderhoff spoke after I did and stated, and this is quote, "There is no intent of putting anything on the property." She further stated, and quote again, "There will be planters on the east side of the proposed patio blocking patrons," and unquote, or quote, and then from the sliver parcel. I agree with her, 100%, great. The plans as depicted depict a commercial use of the patio and a commercial use walk connecting the marina to the restaurant, in contrast to what Bridget Vanderhoff has publicly stated. There are other options available to the north that don't conflict with the restrictive covenant on the sliver parcel. I'm in agreement with developer Vanderhoff, and there should be no patio or walk on the property. I'd like to have the plans depict this. There's a drainage easement for utilities on the south side of their property, the north side of our property. Right on the property line, there's two large drainage pipes going into Manistee Lake. There's a 10-foot easement on each side. The proposed parking lot on the south of the building extends to the property line. There's no setback line, thus no room for vegetative buffer between the commercial building and the residential use of Bayview condos. There are options available to the north for additional parking if they don't fit south of the building. If the parking must be south of the building, butting Bayview property, I request a 6-foot privacy fence on the property line between the commercial and residential use extending from the concrete drive to Manistee Lake with a gate at Bayview's private sidewalk. Number 3, the dumpster should be located on the north side of the restaurant. The seagulls roost on our roofs during the salmon run. Our roofs are white with the seagulls right now. We haven't had rain. They've turned from dark to white. And you can see it from the road.
Yeah, that's, well, that's part of living on a wall.
With the nearby garbage on the south side of the building, those seagulls will be there year-round, shortening the lifespan of our roof. So again, I request that it's on the north side. Lighting for the parking should be low-level, directed toward the ground, so there's minimal light pollution in the evening that would ruin the view of the ship Milwaukee. It's a beautiful view from the public boat ramp that you have, looking at the Milwaukee at night. It's great. Light pollution would just destroy that view. The shared entrance places an undue hardship on Bayview owners with large trucks and vehicles entering the drive. The existing drive to the proposed main parking lot should be sufficient. There's really no need for a shared drive. Okay, 6, signage for the restaurant should not block the view of exiting vehicles of the southern traffic flow coming from the curve on the north. Presently, vehicles coming around that curve and some at high speeds with the limited visibility, it really hinders exiting that driveway and when we want to turn south. It's a really dangerous curve. And the light poles going north have been knocked out a couple of times in the last 4 months. It shows you the danger of the curve going both north and south.
You have 30 seconds.
The draft special use permit identifies only parcel 51-101-275-09 affected by the special use permit. The submitted plan depicts parcels 51-101-275-08 and 15 are also affected. The sliver parcel should remain unaffected, as Bridget Vanderhoff publicly stated on October 1st, last Tuesday. I request that the plans depict the developer's goals, the public comments, my concerns, and Ms. Waldo's conditions before the Planning Commission approves the projected project. It's important to have exact plans going forward into a project resulting in minimal modifications during construction. The plan as submitted is not there yet. No one remembers what is said during meetings, and plans formally record the developers and the city's desires. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay. Move along. New business, currently we have none. And we'll move along to old business, 91 Arthur Street. Oh.
The hand.
I'd like to comment under the public comment section if that was possible.
Well, at that, during the public comment after old business is done.
All right.
Public comment, or do you want to comment on the agenda?
I just wanted to comment as Bruce just commented. I
So,
wasn't sure.
so that's on the agenda, so please come forward.
Yes?
Yes.
My name is Julie Beardsley. I am a property owner at 55 Bayview. I'm the closest residential owner to the proposed restaurant. And did you got my letter, I'm assuming, in your packet, and you got a chance to take a look at the aerial photograph? So you can see how close my condominium is to the restaurant. I'm right, my patio is wide open to it. So as it is, you feel a little bit unsafe because it's just, it's wide open to anybody who's gonna walk down that seawall. And for me, in terms of personal safety, I have a son in a wheelchair, and I just, in terms of our own personal safety, I really think a fence is going to be crucial since you're serving alcohol. There's 2 liquor licenses associated with that restaurant. And you'll have people sitting outside drinking as well as in the interior, and I just think it's crucial for the protection of myself and my family to have a fenced area there as well as a gate. But people, they're gonna walk right down that seawall because it's beautiful. And then they're gonna proceed right into the condominium project. So the idea behind that residential use restriction, it came about through a court case, and it was specifically designed to protect all of those condo units from incursion. And it's obvious they're already proposing building a commercial sidewalk right through the middle of that residential sliver, as well as outside seating, which is supposedly to be protected by flower pots. So I think the Planning Commission has a lot to consider in regards to that sliver parcel. That sliver parcel has been a pain for everybody for 40 years. It's just a sore thumb, and so it's kind of coming back to haunt us after all this time. So I would just like you to consider protecting the adjacent residential area through fencing, if you would please, on the site plan. I would like to see it a condition of the site plan. So, did anybody have any questions about that restrictive covenant, that residential, the deed restriction on that sliver parcel?
This, you can only comment, we do not comment.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right, but thank you very much for your time. I appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else? Before I get ahead of myself.
Take your
Okay.
time. Take your time, Mark.
Don't make fun of me.
Take your time, buddy.
All right, new business, currently we have none. Old business, 91 Arthur Street, Lakeside Social. Action item required.
I'll let you come on up if you don't mind. Yeah, and then introduce yourself. And then I've got some rendering pictures like I would like to start with first. As you can see over there, we printed off 2 of the pictures, but I think, pictures do describe a lot. We'd like to go through those 1 through 9 first. Then after that, we're gonna see if Gary wants to discuss anything with you any further, or we can go along and go through all of the conditions that we've put together, and we can go over that.
Okay.
I'm going to introduce myself.
Sure, go ahead.
Gary Manor, Greenwater Construction. I'll be the builder on the project if it's approved. I live at 17368 Peninsula Drive in Traverse City.
Thank you. So as you can see, this is the first rendering that they submitted.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna say something more about it.
No, we'll just show them the pictures. They want to,
Oh, I see, okay.
yep,
Takes it a second.
yep, it's a second view.
All right, let's see here.
On
Leave it there
these
for a sec.
pictures, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a small parcel of property, and you've got the condos and those, I call them the big rusty boats there, how, it doesn't depict them in these pictures. How close
No,
are they to this facility?
Okay, so we would need to get the site plan over here.
okay.
Mark, in between, can I ask a question, just a historical question? Sure. What was there first, the restaurant or the condos, Bayview condos?
Restaurant.
I think the restaurant.
Was it?
Yeah, I think the restaurant was next.
Okay.
The Little Caesar.
Yeah.
Caesars were there while we were in high school.
And they must be taking pictures from this way?
This
from
is
the
going
south?
north.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be the parking there, and they're
Yeah,
trying to. Might be one of the pictures.
And now, the Julie.
So it must
she-
be
her-
like on
Her
this
fencing
rendering.
is talking
They're to the
between here and the condos?
Right?
Condos are over here.
Over there, that side.
Fence would be here.
Oh, okay,
The entrance is
okay.
the water's along here.
That place.
And then
Yeah.
that's where they're talking about this fence?
That's, yeah, that's what I was wondering, which,
You know,
It's been empty.
Just, you know, it's just.
Remember an 80.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Here, this is the back of the kitchen.
right.
Yeah,
Mine has been empty since.
and it's been empty
This is the green.
30 years.
Yeah.
So if you could leave it up for just talking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, it's too bad you can't do that though. You're right, Marlene, yeah, you can't depict the proximity to the,
No.
to everything else.
is it possible to show that so that we can see?
You've got that overhead you can look at from up above there.
Got some smaller pieces you can put on a
You know,
screen?
do that.
How to do what?
This up here will show it.
That's way out of my wheelhouse. I've been doing this twice now. No, I don't know how to do that.
That's okay, that's,
I
Yeah,
have no idea.
yeah, we'll have to,
We'll have
I'm
to look.
sorry.
it'll project up there. on the
Nobody
screen.
showed me that.
One picture that'll show the parking and maybe it will be able to describe where the condos are. And one of the pictures that come up.
I could stand there and hold it up for you.
The old
Yeah.
As
building.
you go through the pictures, there's just one picture showing parking on both sides.
Okay.
Like,
We did not, we were not.
Okay.
That would be,
I'm sorry, you guys. Nobody's showed me how to run that
tell
thing
in the
yet.
one picture, but
You gotta remember, architects, they want just.
trust me, I work with architects
There
frequently.
was no.
Yeah.
I understand.
Overhead. We only had,
They only want you to see the pretty.
Let's,
Gary, do you know which?
When it shows up, then I'll
Okay.
tell you when to,
Okay, so,
Oh, well, do you want to stop there for a second?
go ahead.
Okay, so on this one right here, this is a resident from the Bayview condos looking across.
That's what I thought.
So it's the parking lot, and then it would be the seating area. So that would be from their view, from their backyard or their homes, looking in.
Right, and
so this is the south side.
looking north.
Yes,
Side looking
south side,
with the lake on the right-hand side.
correct.
there's arborvitae is the kitchen area. And to the left where the masonry is, that's the entrance to the kitchen,
Okay.
the back of the house.
Alright.
That's the picture that I was describing. So on the right-hand side with the cars and the sailboat, that's the side, the view that the condo association would be looking at.
Okay.
There's an existing parking lot there, and that's basically where those cars are parked in the existing parking lot.
These are just drawings, nothing is carved in stone yet. Couldn't you redesign to have the kitchen on the other side to accommodate garbage and everything?
The challenge with that is that there's been many, many hours of design on this,
I can
and
imagine.
we're trying to make sure that the people that are that are using it have a view of the lake, as well as, you know, the other, on the left-hand side is gonna be green area and park-like setting. So, as this has been the existing side, and because of the site and the existing foundation and all that, that's what worked best, and we did go through hours of time trying to find the best solution. And then, because all the existing water and sewer that the kitchens needed are already stubbed in there, so it's,
So all these plans are best suited for you and not the people from
Well-
condo that have to look at that? You don't have any,
well, if you look at this section, there's already a parking lot there that we're just reusing.
Right.
And it's, from my perspective only, that's a much nicer view than what was existing.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and especially with the greenery, my perspective is improvements here are, in the reality, my guess is most of the parking on that side will probably be employee parking. The other people will probably park on the other side closer to the front entrance. I can't guarantee that, but employees need to park somewhere as well. So the parking for customers will predominantly be on the other side, less traffic. So it's our perspective that that's an ideal location based on the existing building services, the views, as well as you can see from the picture, arborvitae's and all that. You're not looking at, and the parking lot will be paved, it'll be nicer looking, you know, it's already paved, but it'll be cleaned up. Did I answer your question, Marlene?
yes?
And so,
Yeah, that'll be all right.
Now, in this picture, I'm assuming the planters are on,
lakeside,
okay, so, and these are what's dividing this to the sliver parcel?
that is correct.
Yeah.
And there's never been anything in the sliver parcel, there's that walkway, I think there's an existing walkway. And that, and if I'm not mistaken, the city is looking to have walkways, I'm not sure about that or not.
So the walkway that is depicted already exists?
There's an existing one there, if I have to confirm that, it might be just narrow, but we do plan on widening it out so true pedestrian traffic could walk on it.
But if the residence and it's deeded, not that it's private property, then you wouldn't touch it, correct?
Right, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Bridget owns that property,
I don't know.
but it has an easement on it, is that correct? I think that's, but what we're willing to do is whatever the city requires,
All right.
you know, it's, if you don't want a walkway there, 31, I've heard rumors that they're gonna be tearing that up in a few years.
Yeah.
And it had been asked of us, can we put a sidewalk in the front of the building? If you notice, there's that great big hill.
Yeah.
There is no place for a sidewalk.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, the city, is what I've heard, is trying to have walkways for people. Most cities with sidewalks. And, you know, that's your decision. If you want to utilize that as a community sidewalk tied in. And if the condo area puts a sidewalk in the front of their building, that's 31, they could turn that down. That's what we look to you guys on that sidewalk, one way or the other. It could be a green area for all we care.
So there would be no problems if us, in the comments, that we said that parcel would be not touched at all, and that you would use planters to separate your operation from that parcel.
Mick, I think he's correct. I think she does own it, but it's got restrictions on it.
Correct.
So I think she can still develop it, but it's
But on
restricted.
that, the sliver belongs to the condo association.
Oh, it does. It belongs to
I've been
them.
in discussions with Ms. Beardsley since Friday, and she provided me with some stuff. So I've been digging into courthouse, which is what I would normally do for a normal client, but I'm not the client. They were not my client, and I'm just doing it as a surveyor, to have the interests. I dug into it to find out who owns the parcel.
Okay,
That
so-
sliver does belong to the condo association. Somehow I think Spicer's were giving a bad description by somebody. So somewhere in between there, something got messed up, saying, okay, this is this and this is this. But going back historically, when a condo was established, that sliver is it's depicted right in the condo documents.
I think that's something that is, what I'm looking for this evening is we can get approved for construction. We can always cordon off that area while that gets determined, because I think we have some conflicting interest.
Yeah.
And it would, for Miss Vanderhoff, if she has it on her tax rolls and paying tax on that and it belongs to somebody else.
Something in historically has gotten messed up in there because
Unless the
I've dug back, not as
association does.
thoroughly as the title company should have. So I think the title company missed something in there.
And I'll have to take that up with
Oh,
Ms.
yeah, you better get that
I'm used to
out
looking at
first.
condo documents all the time.
So if we know, so what I look for at least tonight is get approval for the building, say, we'll put up a silt fence and not touch that side. And because for my client, the condo association in the city, obviously, we can talk to Spicer. Bob, are you still practicing, or?
Spicer's is practicing, but I think they were given some bad information
Okay.
somewhere down the line that they included that into the thing. So I'm not blaming Spicer's on this. Something happened, gave them the wrong, something erroneous.
I think that, that sliver of land, if it's not touched, shouldn't affect the property, but,
No.
but it's something we should definitely get determined, because if the
Yeah.
condo could pick up the taxes on it rather than Bridget paying the taxes.
Well, if you're gonna do anything developing with it, sidewalk or anything, you better find out who it belongs
Oh,
to.
yeah. And so may I request to say, because I think, like I said, I think there's like a sidewalk about this wide going on.
Right.
About 4 feet wide,
Is it 4 feet wide?
roughly.
And that sidewalk that's existing, it may be part of that existing seawall.
Yeah,
And so, if we can move forward while we figure out the sliver of land, first of all, who owns it?
right.
Right. Get that, make sure between the city
Yeah.
and, there should be records of that. Marlene, is that, Marlene, are you in the,
I'm sorry?
who's the woman that?
Oh, Molly, the assessor.
So we
Yep.
talk with Molly and make sure, because
Molly.
when I met with her one time, my gosh, she knows how to find information quick.
Yeah,
She does. She's a cracker jack.
ex-ladies do.
And that's,
She used to work for the city and a clerk downstairs before that.
okay. So,
Different.
so if we can move this, because obviously, really would like to get going before January comes along and we got
Right.
Yep.
frost 4 foot in the ground.
But you really can't get going until this is all straightened out. Who owns what and.
Well, the sliver of land.
The sliver of land, we just, like I say, we poured that.
I wish to read something from the county and equalization tax rolls. This is the description they have there. At the end of the description it says, this parcel was issued a special use permit for Bayview condominiums as of 8/7 of 97. So Bayview condominiums has a special use permit for that area since 1997.
1997,
According to the tax rolls of the county, it belongs to Arthur Development Company. So there is something goofy in there someplace, but it does state that the condominiums do have special use permit for that area.
Right. So what I'm asking is that we, and I'll have to go back with Bridget as we spend the next week or two getting this figured out, and maybe as simple as we get it figured out in the next couple of days, hopefully. But I'm still requesting that.
The
Have our
construction,
stakers, they can stake that line out. We just keep our hands off. And I'll also have to talk to Bridget, because if there is something, she might come back and just say, I'm done.
Yeah.
And since my business is building, I don't want that to happen, but I also understand owners' business is developing.
right.
Yeah, that's true.
Could I mention something, please? Yes. Okay.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Can you come up here and-
Sure.
Need help, Trish?
I'll have her for a second.
Well, I was wondering.
All right, okay, so
Shouldn't assume anything.
I know, I understand.
that sliver of property is right here. I have it with blue ink. This is that sliver of property right here.
That's part of it. Not all.
Wait, no, I'm
No,
sorry, I'm sorry.
no.
I
So
don't-
along the lake is the sliver.
It's right here, this is the sliver of property right here.
It's along the water,
Now,
right?
as you can see, this corner right here, because that's the sliver property, this corner right here of cement is encroaching on that sliver right there. So for right now, I would recommend that for right now, the plans that they design, if either they don't do this to the last step, which I'm assuming it would be towards last step, we
Right.
need to find out if this line is here, and then with that, they not encroach and not go over that. So this right here would make the area smaller. They might have to put this on an angle here
Right, right.
and bring more cement over there to work on something like that.
It doesn't look like it's that far out on this drawing.
Yeah,
I mean, you've got it all the way back here, but it looks smaller here.
Yellow.
yeah, and it's in the
It
up.
doesn't go as far as the.
Legal description calls for just a 12-foot wide parcel there, but it also extends to the water's edge of Manistee Lake.
To the water's edge, yeah, that's
So
right.
it's actually wider than 12 foot, but the legal description is only 12 foot wide.
Uh-huh, okay.
Yep, it's this.
We'll just fence that off.
So it's 12, Bob, it's 12 foot from the edge of the sidewalk then, right?
It's 12 foot from the property, you have a 12-foot property line, sliver there. That's how wide it
Yeah,
was.
go ahead.
For about 154 feet.
What I'd like to do is if we can move forward this part, this sliver of land, obviously I'm gonna dig into it with Spicer.
Can you tell me
Is Bob?
what portion it is?
Yes.
That depends, no, yes.
Yes, he does.
That's the part right here.
Yeah, he-
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, 'cause
I can get Spicer, Bob, after we talk to Molly first.
sure.
Have her get us legal descriptions first, confirm legal descriptions, get those, we can get Bob and Spicer together with myself and or Bridget, sit down, have a powwow, get a conclusion on what that sliver of land really is, who owns it, what,
yeah.
and because I've had my own dealings on my own property where 20 years later, you find out there's an easement you had no idea about.
Oh, yeah,
Run into that quite regular.
yeah.
And,
Work, that's what I run into a lot.
Well, Bob did confirm that it is this piece right here that, so that cement is showing on there right now. So that it is this piece right there. Yeah, so just this portion.
but then I just heard that somebody said it was sent to the water company, so
But-
I'm hearing
Yeah.
multiple, I've heard 4 different things so far.
Yeah, there is a defined parcel on dry land, but then from that 12-foot wide parcel, from that to the water's edge is the riparian rights for that parcel,
For the
for that sliver.
12-foot sliver, right?
Yeah.
So let's just, if you're okay with that, Bob,
Can we have you sit down, please? Thank you.
I'll talk to Molly, get her to get us all the legal descriptions that she has.
Yep.
Once I have those, if I can get your contact information to send it.
Yep.
And I'll send you those documents, I'll send it to Sicer, Bridget, and then the 3 of us or 4 of us can sit down. And then Bob, you can come back to the board and make what our discoveries are.
Yeah.
And if that's.
I've worked with Spicers before, so the guys there know me, so.
Okay. And the township I live there, there's not community togetherness. It's unfortunate. This is the way it should work.
Can we move along on the renderings, or is
I
that
did.
it?
I did.
Yep, that's the end of them then.
Okay.
Yep, 1 through 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you like council to bring up the conditions down? We can go over that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you had them listed, didn't you?
Yep, they're in your packet, and we're going to bring them up on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Hang on, there's a lot going on.
Okay, Yep.
I gotta go back.
Nope, the next page is the
Oh.
conditions.
Sorry.
Yep, you're right. There we go.
There you go.
So these are, Gary, these are the conditions that Teresa has come up with, sorry for that. So I just want to read these for everyone, so if you can't see them. Special use permit valid for 2 years as determined by the Planning Commission. Brownfield documentation, written narrative, adding existing zoning on drawing, page C5, WF waterfront. Trash receptacle shown on site plan. Now that trash receptacle has an enclosure also.
Correct, it will be, yep,
So if we could add that.
closure.
I know it's part of our zoning, but we should state that.
Yep.
Right.
And then do we know where that trash receptacle is gonna be located on the map, or if you, or I mean, on the site plan, if you could tell us where it was? Was it where the arborvitae's were surrounding it?
I gotta go double check, so we want it on that side.
Okay,
As I'm walking through here, a lot of these things we've covered already, but the trash receptacle, I'll just make sure that it's on that side and as close to the kitchen doors as we can get it. We also have to have access for the trucks coming in.
Correct.
So it might be straight back, because the truck can't come and turn. It might be straight back, so he can drive in, lift up, because those dumpsters are closed. They're not, just somebody who's concerned about the seagulls, I do understand that. But dumpsters do have tops on them, and,
So, and I know this isn't a part of the conditions, but will the receptacles have locks? Just so they cannot be opened by, somebody leaves them open or,
if you guys come back and say you want locks on there, I'm sure we can handle that.
okay, all right.
We only want to do what's required. So, speak from the developer, she only wants to do what's required.
Right.
But if you have a couple, and I see what you're saying, typically, the ones that are just out in the open have locks, and that's more to keep people from driving in and throwing their garbage in.
Yeah.
So, if it's not required, Bridget might be happy to put a couple locks on, but then you know how challenging, what was combo? Where'd the key go?
Yeah.
I mean, not a paddle lock per se, but,
Yeah, not
a positive catch.
Those tops are heavy enough.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah, they are.
people lift them up, some tall guy can get about this far up, but you gotta really work it to get it all the way up.
Yeah.
And so typically they fall back down.
That's why we want everything enclosed, so you don't have to look at the dumpster.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's not uncommon in most communities.
And that's what we have in our zoning, so, okay.
That's a good idea.
Must comply with future signs, must be permitted through the city's zoning administrator. Any necessary soil erosion permits required prior to construction. Copy of Eagle permit.
Mark,
Yes.
now I knew they need to get a Corps of Engineers permit for those docks. I know Bridget said that was still in progress, and the Corps of Engineers is dragging their feet yet, that I know.
Today they got too busy. She communicating with the Army Corps, and she guaranteed me by the end of September, she'd have those documents completed. It's now, October 4th? So I was gonna send her an email back, just to help prop her along.
They're notoriously slow on issuing those permits, and I can understand where they're coming from on the Army Corps. I've dealt with them before. They're not always an easy organization to deal with, and they tie your hands if you do something that they don't permit. It's not pleasant.
And I think the Army Corps is more in regards to the seawall, which is a separate project from this.
Seawall and the dock.
Yeah.
It's a separate project that
Okay, so
I hope to be in front of you guys again to make sure that that goes through as well.
All right. Application needs all parcels listed on it that are on the site plan. FDC, fire department connections, will be added to the site plan and installed if not present. Requires signed approval from the fire department prior to construction.
can we stop for a second? He was gonna make a comment.
We're gonna get into some of the fire protection systems. And I think we've already submitted that. This building does not require to be sprinkled, and so the connections won't be there. The existing fire hydrants are already in place.
Okay.
So
Just your grease hoods are, have
Ansel.
fire support.
they'll have an Ansel system in there and a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for,
So we'll get that all to the fire department for their approval.
PPE or personal protection equipment inspection material to be provided by the applicant for all city employee inspections. The owners must comply with all federal, state, and local ordinances and laws, as well as secure all necessary permits and/or license. Section 514, parking, bike parking, and sidewalks in conformance with shared length sidewalks with neighborhood condo and pedestrians. Ordinance must be adhered to. Section 531, landscaping, screening in the zoning ordinance must be adhered to. Plants and trees detail. Knockbox with master key set installed for all buildings. Requires signature by the fire department prior to construction. Lighting plan in conformance with section 525. Easement to parcel number 51-101-275-10. That is with the city of Milwaukee. Shared easement with written agreement. Fire protection system, 903.2.1.2, group A2. Fire flow calculations, including requirements for proposed addition and availability of adequate water needed to be provided before site plan availability. Excuse me, I'm a little ahead of myself. So just run that over. Fire flow calculations, including requirements for proposed addition and availability of adequate water need to be provided before approval of the site plan. Sorry. This building will require suppression based on expected occupancy load and type. Detailed fire suppression plans must be submitted and approved by the fire department. Third-party review on fire suppression system will be before construction. Fire department connection location and design to be determined by the fire department. 26-foot of unobstructed width in the driveway is needed for in the immediate vicinity of the building and for aerial firefighting operations. Any required approval, permits, changes, or modifications are required by any applicable regulatory agency. Phase plan, phase 2 approval needs to be complete, each phase to move forward. Now, can we add any to these?
Yes, Kelso, could you bring up Article 5 for me?
now, are you aware of these conditions? Did you get a copy of these?
I'm aware, and
Yep, we've been working together
Yeah,
with that.
good.
Yep, myself, Jerry, the building inspector, and Gary.
Oh.
Yes.
Good.
Article 5, Section 502.
Section 502, there you go.
Yep, so I wanted to bring this up because this is something that I found. It says here on Section 502, uses, spatula, and physical requirements. So if you arrow down for me, Kelso.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
I have it highlighted here. So it says D, required spatial relationships and physical requirements of this ordinance shall apply uniformly within each respective zoning district to all uses, structures, buildings, and parcels, except that the following may be located as follows on a parcel. Can you scroll down?
Further?
Yep, keep going.
Keep going.
There it is. Okay, so it says, within the side or rear yard setback of the building, handicap ramps, terraces, and patios, but built no closer than 3 feet from the property line. So what we need to make sure is that property line, that sliver that we've all been talking about there, that any cement is not built any closer than 3 feet from that property line. So we might have to have the survey stakes there, measure that, take pictures of that, show where that's at, so we cannot get any closer than that.
And what we can do is we can stake it.
Yep.
We can ask you.
Oh,
to
yes,
come out.
yep.
And the stake would probably be, might put it right on the property line, you'll see a 3-foot offset, so.
Yes.
3 foot away.
Correct, and then we can show that on the site plan. Then the next, anywhere on a parcel and does not require the land use permit, I just wanted to let you know, these are the things listed there. So you can do arbors, trellises, trees, plants, shrubs. It does still have to do that section 513, but all of that is listed there. Patios built up to grade, fences just need to do the ordinance. So I wanted to have that stipulation put on there also under the conditions, if you are on all of an agreement of that.
So with that, Teresa, is just section 513?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, the only other thing that I looked up too, which is in the zoning ordinance, is everyone to be aware of, this is a US 31 corridor overlay. And with that, I know that I have received from residents some comments about the exiting of the driveway. I don't know if we can make a condition or what maybe we could do, but I was wondering if when anyone from the restaurant or from the condo, if it's a shared driveway, if they went to exit, that they would have to make a right-hand turn only. I don't know if that's something that we can require or request for that, but I think with that kind of traffic, somebody making a left out of there is very dangerous.
Come down to something where MDOT may require.
That wouldn't be our
That
call.
would be, MDOT would be involved in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because they're talking about cutting down on driveways in different places.
correct.
Going to more shared driveways.
Yes,
MDOT
they
is.
are. Yep,
So we kind of hands tied on that one.
yeah.
We can request.
We can make the request.
Make a request for that,
but
exactly.
MDOT may just nix it.
Right. And MDOT, I mean, they've talked about the road diet going from 5 to 3 lanes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's still with distance of looking and on both sides, so,
That's probably going to come into play when they do their road diet.
yep, yep. And they'll be
I foresee
redoing
us
that.
losing
Yeah, that would be a
the
good idea,
driveways through.
only right-hand turns.
Well, that would be a good thing, but.
Yeah.
It would be.
Well, but they would have to make adjustments for you to make that U-turn at some location within that.
Not really.
Couldn't
Do
you?
not.
No.
Do not.
Well, they don't have to, but normally.
They would have to make it probably a place for like one of those Michigan lefts, which wouldn't be feasible in that area.
So what, like Bob's saying, when MDOT comes in here, you guys have your conversations, a Michigan left is a fabulous thing. You know, the current project I'm working on, Chick-fil-A's in front of us, at prime times of day, and they put a sign,
Yeah.
that says right turn only. In fact,
Yeah.
I always turn right no matter what, because I'm not crossing 31 in Traverse City.
No.
I've seen that, I've seen that
You
in
can go
places where
back
MDOT
to,
ties people's
yeah.
hands with, they are stuck.
The
with them.
conditions.
I've seen businesses too create their own sort of curb cut on the exit so that you're naturally kind of forcing cars to only turn one way, so it kind of bends. I don't know if you
We've all been there, even when it says left turn only.
Yeah.
You're gonna come up there and there's gonna be that hoo-ha that, I'm going left no matter what.
Yeah,
But,
oh, yeah.
and I think that existing entrance is a commercial entrance with the required curvature and opening up. So when you turn, you're not driving over the curb, so it was
There's a lot of
put it in
regulations
originally,
on that.
good proper.
Yeah.
A lot of driveways that are in violation of state regulations there, when they get rebuilt, they have to be brought up to the state.
Brought up to code, sure.
Yeah.
Like anything that was built, you gotta bring it up to
And it
code.
does look like the shared driveway is actually half on your property and half on the property line. It looks like that shared drive literally is right down the middle from the diagrams that I saw.
So Teresa, with the,
All right.
with these conditions, we have section 513. And with, on turning for exiting, can we put that in with the right turn only?
Yeah, we
And
can,
do we go through, does that have to go through MDOT?
that's what I would have to verify with,
Okay.
if it needs to or not, but it's something that we can put in as a talking condition.
Sure,
We can do
right.
that. Yep. So I would like you to make a motion this
Okay,
evening.
I have one more.
Okay.
And then,
Sure.
I know we went over, somewhere in here about, or in 513 of the fencing. On the south side, kind of a break off, between the restaurant and the condos. A privacy fence.
Well, privacy fence. I don't see a problem with that, is there?
Ms. Beardsley brought that up,
Yeah. that's
or
true.
maybe it was Mr. Matthews.
Yeah.
Why
My
does that keep
concern with
going
that
off?
is,
Oh.
it's my understanding that that's not required by current city ordinances.
It is not.
And so to go back to the developer and say, you have to put this fence up, once again, she might just say,
That was actually going to be my question.
Yeah.
Has the city ever made that requirement of another business? We have businesses all over that abut homes.
And I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, I would have to look that up and do some research to find that out.
We had RVs parked there until 6 months ago.
Right.
To a year ago, that had been there for, I'm not sure how long, but quite a while. You had RVs in that other section.
and it's, I believe Bridget's stance, if they want to put some arborvitae's, there's going to be a green area now, it's going to look better. The condo, is more than welcome to do that.
Well, I wouldn't want to impose something that hasn't been previously imposed on.
And perhaps the developer and the condo owners maybe would come to an agreement to split the costs of privacy fence.
Because as a courtesy,
Since it's both sides.
the headlights and everything coming and going, I think it would be nice to have that privacy fence.
Well, the headlights are gonna be coming, the privacy fence wouldn't make a difference for the
It
headlights.
would help.
Because all the lights are coming as they're turning in or turning out of the property.
Two items I
Angles of the driveway, we won't shine that way.
I look at as a builder,
North side of those condos don't have.
one, to force the owner to do something that's not in the ordinance is difficult for me to try to push.
Yep.
And second of all, when I see those privacy fences coming up, when somebody's forced to do that, they go to Menards, get the cheapest one, and then 2 years later, it's, right now, you can see the view, it's gonna be a much nicer view. Do I understand her concern about people coming over? I believe that used to be a big campground there. I'd be more concerned with people camping, getting drunk in their campsites and walking over
Yeah,
after sitting around the fire.
well,
Well, and a comment was made about the view of the boats. A privacy fence would obscure that, so.
Obscure the view.
Absolutely.
Well, I had to throw that out there, so, and good
yeah,
discussion.
that's a thought, though.
Yeah. Okay. Next, what are we looking for a motion?
Yes, I'd like a motion to either approve
Okay,
or deny, or approve with either the conditions stating, adding, or taking away any of the conditions.
okay. All right, so I would ask for a motion to approve or deny or approve with conditions stated, or any other additional? Or
Yep, if you want to discuss right now any additional.
I thought you had one written down that we were just talking about.
Yep, we have the list here, and I have the few that we
Added.
added and everything.
Yeah,
I've got
yeah.
those all listed here.
Okay.
Yep. And the meeting is being recorded, so we've got that.
I'd
So-
like to see it with the stipulations. Not
Which,
just-
oh,
Approve with the conditions.
with the conditions.
That's the conditions you
We'll
have.
have to wait for, see what MDOT would say about the driveway stuff. We can't
Yeah.
really. That one is kind of.
That's not written in there, right? The
We
driveway.
have to find out
No.
who owns the sliver of property, too.
Well, he needs to find that out. We
Well,
don't.
That's not part of this. But
Well, no, but part of it, no.
So with the last one, Teresa, the right turn only, do we remove that or do
Or-
we keep that in?
recommendation for discussion?
Yep, we can add that as just approve with conditions, all of these that are appropriate. And then, like what Mick said, just the last one with the exiting the driveway, a right turn only. Discussion with MDOT and not part of the requirements, just a discussion.
So that motion would be on the last one, MDOT, discussion, if you put it, Mick?
Sure. So it would be a recommendation for discussion with MDOT on a right turn only.
Right.
All right,
Thanks.
all right.
Yep.
Okay. So Marlene has made the motion to approve with conditions. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Shelley. Any further discussion?
And between the first, the bordering and number at the end with the no cement within 3 feet of the offset of the sliver, we've covered that
That's in that 5-4
significant issue.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
No additional discussion on this? So if there isn't any, please take roll.
Commissioner Schmansky,
Yes.
Commissioner Yoder,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner, Commissioner Member Two,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
Vice Chair Slavinsky,
Yes.
and Chair Whitliff.
Yes. Motion approved. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I have one quick question. Because Bob and I looked at previous site plans and the buildings weren't there. What's the capacity for the restaurant?
What's the capacity?
Yeah.
I can tell you.
Look at,
I haven't seen the plans yet.
65.
She grew
Yeah.
up here. And she said that she spent a lot of time here. Yeah, she grew up here.
80?
Okay.
Is that both inside and outside?
Didn't live that far. Down near Grandhaven. So she's up here frequently. She's a big boater.
Okay.
Yes.
Elevation?
She did. She grew up in Manistee.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
anything else? And by the way, thank all of you here. Like I said, I live in a township where the boards are, they're not positive like you guys, so.
Well, thank you. Thank you for those comments.
Yeah.
We need comments from the audience to be quiet, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one. Good luck, bud.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Teresa. Moving along, we will move into the master plan.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Hope you guys are good. It's been a while since I've been here. So,
Would you
pardon?
Let them leave. And otherwise they'll,
I can hear you better.
Sure.
there you go.
Okay.
Oh, somebody left their purse, or is that yours? Oh, must be hers. Okay. All right.
Are we ready to begin?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead. So
All right, I was just saying hi, and I'm glad to be back. So I just got your comments. I saw them briefly this afternoon, then Teresa handed me a copy today. So I appreciate that, first of all, you guys have had an opportunity, and you've taken the opportunity. I always welcome critiques,
Can you bring up
comments.
those comments?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't tell you.
Critiques, comments, edits, because that lets me know, first of all, you've read it. And second of all, this is your plan, so I want you guys to make sure that it's right by the time we get it to adoption. So there's a lot of time between then and now. So I'm not sure how, if you guys want me to sort of lead us through a conversation, or if you guys want to lead through a conversation. I also didn't know that we also have to go through a draft of the survey today. I didn't see any comments of a survey given. I had handed that out to Teresa ahead of time, so I'm hoping you've had a chance to look at that. We will talk about that as well. So how would you guys prefer to kind of go through the master plan documents and survey?
First have the survey done and then see what the survey says. No.
Do you want to start with the survey, go through the survey questions first?
That would be great.
Okay,
Or,
excellent. I'm going to pull that up then.
Sorry, Kelso, can you go now back to the, I do have up here the City of Manistee Master Plan. We'll go over that after we do the survey, so we can read through all those comments. Because what I did is I took everybody's comments and I put them on there. But as I said, they have not seen all of them together, like you, from today, so.
The survey.
Survey, now keep going.
It starts with a very, so first of all, I will tell you, I hate printing off the survey because it's much more polished and it's colorful.
There it is.
And
Yep.
it looks nicer when it's online. No, we will provide a printed copy to City Hall so that way anybody that wants to take the survey, not online, they are more than welcome to. But just, generally speaking, it'll be accessible and look much more polished in the online version. So, I guess help me understand, have you guys had a chance to review the survey yet?
We had it.
You've had it at least, like, okay. So,
Yep, in your packet.
okay. Open for discussion and edits. So, this is just a general overview, like a welcome statement. My understanding is typically, you want to find a balance between getting useful information and not having this take forever, so roughly 15 minutes. If we want it to be shorter, we can. I don't really want to go longer unless you guys feel like the community is going to have an appetite for that. So anyways, that's the introduction. I would like to jump to the next page, which is question 1. There's a question about with housing. Oh, I also have to say, depending on what you guys want to do, there's also a bunch of questions about, who are you, what's your age, gender, all that sort of stuff. We can put that at the beginning. Some communities like that in the beginning. Some communities like that at the end because they're like, well, we want people to take the survey and then at the end if they still are around. So anyways, just with this, I started out with that. Do you want me to read the questions? And I guess I'm not sure how much to go through with.
I don't think you do.
Okay.
We can,
So question 1, are there any comments or questions?
So I've got a general one.
Yes.
Where would you put questions about childcare, the need for childcare?
My question back to you would be, how would the master plan look to address childcare? Is that something that you want to talk about in the goals, in implementation?
Or potentially zoning. For example, right now, there is no right for a family childcare
Okay.
in residential
Okay,
without a special use permit.
okay,
And that was why we had the problem with the young lady and the $1,000 is because there's no right. A lot of communities have already done that. They've made childcare a right within your residential area, which is, by the way, by insurance is restricted to no more than 6 children.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't get insured unless you're a child care center.
Right.
But for a family child care home, it's 6.
okay.
Yeah.
So typically the master plan, we don't get into the minutia of zoning. If you want to ask some very general questions about
The
childcare.
need, is there a need?
Sure.
That's the question.
That-
If there isn't a need for childcare, then we don't need to necessarily
Yeah, right.
change the ordinance.
Sure.
My assumption is that we have 800, we're 800 positions short in the city of Manistee. right
Not
now.
uncommon, right? Childcare is an issue across
Yeah.
everywhere. So I guess I would either put that in, I wouldn't put that in the housing section
No,
necessarily. I put it either in economic development or
Or the-
community investment.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking of, that it seemed like it made the most sense to be in the economic development, the availability of jobs, so the availability of childcare.
good point. Yeah.
That was kind of the only,
When the
Big
casino
missing.
closed, that big childcare, that left a big void for a lot of young parents. And my
Over a-
great grandkids included, for trying to find a daycare.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's about the availability of childcare within the city of Manistee, within the
county, I think. Well,
this is
just
city.
availability of childcare, and where they find it isn't,
Yeah, that's the truth.
Okay.
so maybe in the availability of,
Number 8.
yeah, on number 7 maybe. Somewhere in the availability of housing and jobs.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would,
Childcare.
actually, that would be a good one, availability of childcare. Just roll it into question 7. How important is it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that that statement is availability of childcare in city, or something about beyond the city because of
We're commuter, yeah, within commuter range.
okay. Um, So, I guess to move forward then, or to go back. Question 1, are there any comments or questions on question 1?
Oh, yeah, no.
Question 2, comments or questions? Question 3,
No.
question 4,
We're pulling them up on the screen too, Roger, for you, if you want to look on the screen in front of you. We got them
Okay,
there too.
yeah,
Yeah, we're
alright.
bringing them.
question 5.
If that's easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Question 5 has, if you flip on the PDF, it's got some images associated with it. Anyways, question 6, are there any questions related, comments, question 6? Question 7, all the different things there, is anything missing or we need to remove anything?
I think you said just the child care. That was it.
Yep, I'll
Did we
be
get
adding that.
Yep.
That's right. Question 8, should we add childcare to question 8?
Oh, yeah, that would be.
Yes.
Good.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And I don't know if this
good.
goes under another one, but I was thinking about repair. We've had some people that have talked about equipment repair, bicycle repair. Those have been a hot topic, so if we could put, yep,
Yeah.
repair.
A thing I've seen in some cities I've been through is adult daycare centers.
Or senior care, how
No,
about senior care?
Not necessarily senior care, it's an adult. You have a disabled adult
Yeah,
that you're usually taking care of at home and you need errands to run.
right,
You need a place you can have that person go.
that's right.
Sure.
Senior
We'll add
care.
that.
You don't
Yeah.
have.
I'm on the board at the senior center.
Uh-oh, here we go.
and Get requests to do that, but we don't have the facility. You have
Sure.
to have so many different things, and we've been looking into something like that to someone prepare us so that if you go to work, you can take your mother, dad, grandma, and then pick them up on the way back.
But
So
it's
we have been looking
Those,
into.
now, I see a lot of those
It's
are,
also not just senior care.
No, it's adult day, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I see a
Disabled.
lot of those where they have the combination of the child care and the senior care,
Yeah.
where the kids are taking, those little kids are taking care of those seniors.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
On question 8, would you add job incubator to that?
Sure.
Pretty boundary,
Anything else for, the other thing too is, sorry, go ahead.
And I don't know how to, temporary offices?
Oh,
Like
Oh.
pop-ups?
Pardon?
Like pop-ups?
Yeah.
there are some, the hotels, several of the hotels offer
Chelsea County.
space,
Yeah.
with facilities,
But if they're not staying if we had some, if our area grew enough that we
Sure.
we had this, that they could come in and rent.
And I will let you guys know that we have a box that says other, so people can write in that need that's not listed, and then they can mark it.
Okay.
And the way that so at the end of this, what we do is we provide a community engagement report, and it will have all of the answers, like it will have, we'll have it by the numbers, so like people who are number people and charts, but then also any comments, we're very transparent, minus like an explicit comment. We don't edit for grammar, so that way just, you will see what people write, so. Any other things for question 8?
Yeah, no,
Maybe, is there a,
there it is.
well, what do you call it, work from home, the telework or,
So that's usually, like, that can be the way that people work, that's not like a particular kind of business.
Yeah, right,
So that's kind of determined by their employer.
yeah.
So question 9, good, kind of comments on that.
Sorry.
Question number 10. First of all, so my biggest question with number 10 is, we took a stab at understanding the way the city's neighborhoods are. how far off are we? I need someone, whether it's Teresa or someone, to give me, I need to make sure that we have oriented the neighborhoods the right way, or if they're or if they're fine, that's good, but I just didn't know if there's any other way that the city already defines itself or wants to be defined when it comes to identifying the areas and ranking them for the areas in need of public investment, or if that's suitable.
So are you asking,
So the way that I mean, essentially one way you could look at it is is this the right districts or neighborhoods? So let's just say, I don't know, some communities it's like, nope, these are the areas, they're hard and fast. Some of them are like, it's a little bit here and a little bit there. Or some communities are like, well, we've never even thought about this before.
I think some of this is referencing a little bit of the zoning map. I mean,
Correct.
like E would be the waterfront and those types of things. The only thing that I question is, I think A.
There's some commercial up in A.
Yeah, all the way to
Yeah.
the backside.
Oh, yeah, there's.
So I think there needs to be
Front area.
Yeah.
kind of A is too large, I think. So I think, where do you think the line should be drawn, or how should that look?
There
Or
should
might
be-
even need to be 3 in A.
I think you get Dunes Drive, from Dunes Drive to Monroe, over to Washington, and that, between that area and north, I think would be more of a commercial district, because you've got the industrial park there, you've got the businesses along 31.
You mean north?
Yeah,
of
there's really
Monroe?
only houses on
Bob, is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about?
So north of Monroe, is that what I'm hearing you say?
Should be another section, yeah.
So, and then does that include man-made lake, or does that not include
It
man-made?
would not include,
So
So from,
Dunes, Monroe
you've got
to
31.
31?
Yeah.
Dunes Drive is residential.
And so would I follow Dunes Drive all the way up to the northern boundary, or should I use?
Yes.
Okay,
And that would be G.
Yeah.
And then A would be more in the center
More
of
of
the
this-
north side.
Yeah,
And F, actually, if you
that's a business
could,
district,
That's just.
Well,
that's just downtown.
downtown, but
yeah.
part of downtown usually kind of goes a little bit into the north-south, but
Okay,
for the most part, we get it.
Yeah, no,
F is a multiple use district.
Right.
yeah.
right,
no.
right, we're not, so we're just using this as for an area for more investment or less investment.
Right, right.
So I understand that A, right now I just have the area that's north of,
Yeah.
the river there.
River. Yep.
A is broken up into 2 areas. There was talk about 3. Are we happy with 2?
2 would be enough.
I think two would.
Yeah, just G.
Okay.
Up in the top.
So, and we'll probably reletter
Letter
this.
it, yeah, A, B.
But
Yep.
anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so just 2 on the north side of the river.
Those are
Okay.
two distinct different entities up on the north side.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's fine.
okay. Any other comments about the map, or are we pretty much good? Okay,
Uh-huh.
so we'll update.
But if you want to, like Traverse City has the warehouse district.
Yeah.
And, you have other, is that what you?
So, not necessarily, this is as far as you want to take it, right? So right now, over on question 10, it says A, B, C, D. We could just have area A, area B, area C.
Because I don't think they're named, I mean,
Right,
it's
like-
Position of Maxwell Town, but.
Well,
If there are some areas that are named, we can use them. If ever, all these areas are named, if it's like, no, just stick with A, B, C, and D. Like, I'm trying to do a thing of helping you guys think about this, the city, and where would investment in future be? And again, I don't know.
I think,
Go
I think
ahead.
the general public's gonna recognize more A or B or C. If-
Okay,
if
great.
you say Peninsula District, they're gonna be going,
They don't
where
know
is
where
this?
that
That's exactly right. We want to be, so
Yeah.
we'll stick with A, B, C.
Yep.
Great. Okay.
Okay, so.
Gotta think almost to a third grade level on some of this.
8th grade.
Right.
Eighth grade is what I've been told for the public, and it's not like an insult, because if you think about how busy you are, right, when someone hits you with something, you gotta push all that other stuff you've been thinking about in the back of your mind. So eighth grade level, we'll give some people some grace. Okay, question 10, moving on then to question 11. Any comments or questions about question 11? And then and then the next section is more about non-motorized transportation. And
And I apologize, that was very difficult. They've not had anything done for any of that. We couldn't get you any information about that at all.
And that's okay, like,
Yeah,
we'll get to that in the chapters, but
Yeah.
let's stick to the survey for now. I get it, no worries.
Okay.
So this is about, and maybe the community hasn't been asked this before, maybe it's been a while, but just a few questions about non-motorized transportation. That's what the next several questions are. So question 12 and question 13. Any comments or questions?
The only thing on 12,
Yes.
I looked at it, is there another section where you address people and pets?
Not necessarily. What was your thought about people?
Well, a lot of people walk with their pets, they run with their pets, having appropriate places for disposal, inappropriate places. That's kind of.
Yeah, no, so.
We have them on the Riverwalk, and that was contentious when it started, to allow people to walk on a certain section of the Riverwalk. So that was kind of what I thought, and I didn't know where that would fit, but it seemed like non-motorized would be.
So this is more just about how a person is moving through a space. We know that cars have I feel like we're not asking about cars because cars have been given permission to do whatever they want in our culture. We're trying to ask people when they're using a bicycle, when they're walking on their feet, when they're using a wheelchair. And so if they're choosing to have a pet while they walk or use a wheelchair, probably not a bicycle, then that would be, they can include that in their own minds. So 12 and 13 were good. Moving on to question 14 is related. So I will update the map on question 14 to reflect the map on question, was it 10 or something like that. So now this gets into like the demographics of who's taken the survey. So it's a little bit of where do you live? That way we know too, the idea with this question is we're trying to understand and hope that we get a cross-section of people across the city geographically who take the survey. And then question 16 is your age.
Yeah.
Then 17 is your connection to the city. 18 is your household, number of people. Children, and then children or anyone over 65, do you want to ask a question about gender, like male, female, and then do you want to include, female, male, other?
Is it relevant?
That may,
And, we typically not, but every community is different. So if you're like, it doesn't really matter to us how many men versus women take the
the
survey.
ages is what would be
Yeah.
important.
And possibly revenue, their income, isn't it normally?
We can ask, so I will strongly advise with the income question, you make it optional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can ask an income question, and usually we have like a standard, what that breaks down is whether it's 10,000 increments. But we can,
I think we refuse to
income.
answer that part.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. And then we will have like, choose not to.
But it might be
Yeah.
helpful.
Absolutely. Okay. And then the last question on here is we always provide the space for people to provide their comments.
Right.
Some people say thank you, some people think this is horrible, and we'll get anything in between. So with that, is there anything that was missed in the survey that you were hoping to see that's not there?
Anything about volunteerism?
What kind of question are you?
How often do you, what kind of volunteer opportunities would you be looking for? Are you interested in volunteering?
Would that be under what activities you're interested in?
Do you volunteer? Yeah, do you volunteer?
So are you just trying to get because just to help me sort of think about how to write the question, what are you hoping to get out of it? Like you're just trying to understand your community better? Are you looking for people to, volunteer for stuff?
A little bit of both.
What if-
Again, part of that, if you ask the question and people begin to think about
Yeah.
whether or not they do or don't. But again, quite often people look for opportunities in certain areas.
Yeah.
It
May plant the seed there.
somebody to say, yeah, maybe I should volunteer.
Yeah.
Well, you could ask the question, do you volunteer? And if they answered yes, where do you volunteer, and have them write it in there? And what maybe area would you like to see more?
Expanded.
Exactly, volunteer in what area?
To volunteer for.
And if you don't, why?
Yeah,
And maybe make it an optional question too, along with the other.
yeah.
So what I will say then is that, so the way that we've written most of the questions are easily, it's going to be easy to digest the answers. Excuse me, and so if we, excuse me, if we ask the question about where and we give them the opportunity, you might get 200 results.
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, and that's, if that's what you guys are comfortable with, that's fine, but,
I was just curious if other people had, in their surveys, were trying to find that data, or,
no, that's not really something that's come up, but that doesn't matter because it's the Manistee survey. So if you guys want it in there,
Well, we're trying to get people involved in what we do,
yeah.
to get them to come to the meetings at least.
Mhm.
So, if we get them to some sort of a,
Or something like, do you, or are you interested in volunteering opportunities?
I don't know how you'd want to face it or say it, but that was a problem, that's a problem we have.
Automatically says once we-
I was always taught, you can't just take from your community, you have to give back.
Yeah.
you say yes?
So volunteering into different, is good.
So here's another question. This just is helping me again think through, like, at the end. So if people, do you volunteer? Where are you interested in volunteering? Would we tell them, write in your name, and this will not be shared publicly, but it would be shared with you guys? So I guess, like, how do we kind of do that? Because with the planning commission, most things are public information. So
Right.
how?
And with it once we get
Or
it.
what areas would you like to volunteer in?
I don't like the idea of that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Master plan.
That's because we want honest answers on everything else. And
yeah.
if we ask them for their personal information on that one, they'll think that we can go back and look at the rest of their answers.
Right.
Yep. So.
No.
Do you, something like, do you volunteer? If not, is there any areas you would like to volunteer in? Something like that? And there's no name, just give it.
Well, you're gonna get into the point of being too wordy. I think you just kind of simplify it. Volunteerism.
Yeah, are you interested?
Are
in
you
vol-
interested?
Are you interested in volunteerism?
Or would you like
Volunteering.
to expand?
Yeah,
So,
just basically what you have
If you
already.
get too wordy, people will
I-
just.
Again, I think maybe it would fall in, as kind of in the,
Okay.
job kind of a thing. Do you,
Well, you could just ask the question, are you interested? And then provide a
Yeah.
comments box
Yeah,
if
there
somebody
you go.
wants to write
That's all you
something.
need.
Yeah, you don't have to get too involved.
Yep, that's all you need. Okay?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, with this, I'll clean up the edits, send it back to Teresa. Kind of like going out of order in terms of the next steps, but we can kind of jump there. So, after we go through the different draft chapters today, then essentially the next phase or part of the master plan is to do community engagement. After community engagement, we bring that back to you guys, and then we go on to goals, and then we kind of go back to the master plan chapters. But we want to take some time to make sure that we're getting community comments, and then have an opportunity for you guys to hear what those are, and then move into goals. So with that, the master plan survey, we would want to put that out to the community. Typically, that's out for at least 4 weeks, sometimes 6, sometimes 8, but after a while, people kind of forget.
Yeah.
So, thinking about this survey and what you guys, comments you've seen, my next question to you all is kind of looking at, the calendar and what level of refinement you guys want to see with this. Like, do you want to see it, in front of another planning commission meeting? You guys meet just once a month?
Yes.
Yes, okay, that's what I thought. So do you want to have another look at this to kind of give it your final thumbs up, and then it goes out to the public? Or, clean this up, and then,
We
give it out
would
to
need
the
a
public?
meeting for that though, would we?
No.
Okay.
I think-
Send
It's up
it
to,
on
yeah, it's up to
email.
you all.
Teresa can
Yeah.
send
Send
it
it to
to
you.
us for comment, and
Yep,
Kind of move it along.
yep.
Okay, so then so with that, do you guys have any particular thoughts about when you want the master plan survey to go out? Do you want Teresa and I to kind of work on that just based on, giving you guys the final, the edited version of the survey? You guys more or less, give it the thumbs up or there's no further comments, and have it kind of go on that way?
And can you refresh my memory? How
Yes.
is it being distributed? Like, how will people see it and take it?
So that's a little bit kind of like up to you all. So we had shared that we would be happy to provide a flyer, whether it's a postcard and or a social media post, but something like a nice flashy, thing that's like that will look nice and it will be colorful and it will say basically like, Manistee master plan out, let your voice be heard or whatever.
Just saw one for a survey this morning. That's why
Yep,
I
and
asked.
then we had talked about whether the city wants to put that out in a water bill or a postcard or put it out on your website and social media. Also, any community members that churches, what was I gonna say, like Kiwani's Club or any of that kind of stuff, like you guys can help get the word out. That's how it gets disseminated. So
The chamber's willing to help with all of that too. Yep.
so the more, like, if, as long as people don't see it 20 places, if they see it like 2 or 3 places, like, then they are like, oh, I guess this is something that I should do. So if you guys are okay with Teresa and I kind of coordinating on that, she and I can do that unless you want them to give more input in particular.
And it wouldn't hurt to have it in the newspaper because we have a lot of snowbirds who have.
Yes.
Are either gone or going. But
Yep.
a lot of them still get the electronic newspaper.
Good.
Yes, so that'd be great.
Yeah, that's true.
Can we send it with the water, or the taxes, winter taxes?
When does winter taxes go out?
Yeah, when do they go out for you guys?
I think December.
I try to.
I think it's too late,
November?
I think so.
is it?
I mean, if you want to hold the master, like if you want to kind of pause the master plan and then have the survey go out, like with the December taxes, you can, or you can just distribute it like, through the newsletters and other things.
In the water bill.
I think, yeah, just the water bill or something. I don't think we should wait for taxes.
The water bill gets to everyone, the taxes only gets to the property owner.
Right, we want it to be for
Right.
everybody,
Really
not just people
doing
who
the-
own property.
The renters.
Yep, we want,
Bill,
okay.
not everybody pays one, so.
Yep.
Well, Teresa and I will kind
Still
of
doesn't get to the renters.
work on the particulars.
No, that's true.
The other thing I want to bring,
So,
Can we, hey,
So 2 other things. One is the city is in the midst of doing a couple pop-up events and getting some engagement back. They're going to share that with us. That was kind of a way you guys got a cost break, but like still getting public input. And I hear that's going well. So
Yes.
thumbs up for
That's
that.
great.
And then we also have a workshop that we will be holding at some point related to the master plan. And I think related to like how the survey goes, talking a little bit with Teresa. I think we're going to have a little bit more sort of dialed in conversation about what we hope to get out of that instead of just worrying about scheduling it right now and kind of talking through all that. But just to let you know, those 3 things combined will be your community engagement. So just kind of put in the back of your mind, it's not just a survey we're getting out of this. There's more to come. So,
Yeah.
okay. Any other comments or questions about community engagement before we go to the draft chapters?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, speak now for Coach Peace.
Would you like me to bring up the paper that I sent earlier?
Sure.
Yeah,
So-
that one from earlier, all
Sure,
the
sure, sure, yep.
comments.
So
Chapter 2
then
and
my-
chapter 3. Yeah, that one. Yep. Because I haven't had a chance to read it, I'm sorry.
Do you guys want to take a couple minutes and read those then?
Yeah, if they could.
Yes.
Yeah. The one that's on the screen right there. These are the compiled from chapter 2 and chapter 3 that I took from all of you and everybody else, and this is what it compiled to.
Okay.
You ain't gonna move it because
no, I'm used to them.
that little troublemaker in the corner is the one that moves it. I got a question on the one about located within an hour of a national lake shore. The nearest national lake shore is Sleeping Bear Dunes. That's more than an hour.
Yeah, that is. You're right.
Not the south end of it. It's
Yeah.
right on Platte Road. I have
That's-
property right there. It's 45 minutes tops.
Yeah, that's depending how you're driving, which way you're driving.
I go there frequently, no.
I always felt racial and ethnic data is a touchy subject. A lot
It's
of-
out there, it's available.
It's, yeah, it's,
And me, oh, yeah.
so when you do these, how often are they included, ethnic and racial?
I mean, it really just depends. I don't think, like, if you say how often, cities, of townships, like, so
Cities
it's
are-
really,
is it-
I mean, so typically, like, as of lately, we haven't necessarily included them just because everybody in Michigan is so white. No, there's a good point here about the tribe. So, like, very happy to do it and put it in. So it's a fair point. And sometimes instead of just doing like what it was today, like a comparison, but you know, it's really up to the individual community.
I think the demographics typically, at least the ones that I use, even though they're updated by private companies, but the census
Yep.
information every time.
Yep. Yeah, it's out there.
That's-
Yep, that's what we use.
I mean, you could always put a link, you know, if anybody wanted to see that instead of specifically drawing attention to it, but
The census is not user friendly, so
No.
it's easier if we just provide some like basic information, which we can definitely do. That's why I want to kind of, once you guys are done with this, I want to kind of go through the chapters and take the comments and kind of review them, as well as give anybody who didn't write any thing back to do that. So just, I guess,
How old is the census we're working with now? Is that?
2020 was the last one that was done.
Uh-huh.
There are lots of challenges with the 2020 census.
Yep.
But that's when the last one was done. If you remember sitting at home filling it out. That was one challenge.
Where did they get that Manistee Lake is characterized as man-made?
I always wondered
So
what it was.
I got that, I think I got that from one of the documents I looked at. So I'm like, this is where, so right, this is my first time in front of you guys after myself and my colleague were writing this and going through this. I'm expecting there to be edits. First of all, because there are so many chapters before you, to be fair, I was a little bit nervous because typically, after one or two chapters, I sit down with the planning commission or the steering committee, and you know, we kind of, instead of, you know, the ship, you're kind of like, you kind of start narrowing down the direction, and with 4 chapters out, or 3 chapters plus a survey, there's a little, you know.
Where I'm coming up with the Manistee Lake thing, I'm used to dealing with historical surveying documents from the original state. Manistee Lake does exist in the original GLO surveys from the federal government.
Right.
Is an existing lake.
I always wondered because it's a river.
It's two.
The river dumps.
Yeah, it is actually 2 rivers.
I don't see how that.
Yeah, it's on the original surveys of the state of Michigan. They're all in there. Portage Lake is extensively different because Portage Lake used to be 8 to 10 feet higher. Till the river, till the channel got cut.
It used to be an enclosed, it was.
It wasn't an enclosed lake. All there was a sawmill.
Let's move on. We don't care about
So should we move into the chapters?
getting off.
Yes.
Okay, so chapter 2, excuse me. So it sounds like in chapter 2, you want us to add some ethnic and racial data, correct?
I would at least add the fact that we have, you know, an Indian nation
Yeah.
part of our community. I would think we'd be remiss if we didn't have that.
When you say it's a part of your community, are you meaning like the fact of like the US Census and the portion of people who live here who identify as like
Native American.
white, whatever, 2 or more? I don't, like some, like in the last couple censuses, they switch things, but that's what you're meaning. There isn't anything more, I mean,
Manistee exists within the reservation boundaries, so I
There is.
think don't include,
That shows
there would be an issue.
government
Yep,
survey
okay.
maps, the reservation boundaries, everything outside the reservation was surveyed 30 years before inside the reservation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history in that.
so to that,
Going into those. Not too much.
And there's some good historical information on kind of how to word that.
yes, where is that, where would that be?
If our little book, the little, what is it, tourist book on Manistee has a nice little paragraph that addresses
Is that the walking tour?
the walking tour.
You can also go to the Little River Band of Ottawa Indians website. There's a public
Yep.
website.
Great,
The first paragraph there
okay.
also deals with it. And then it describes it.
Okay. Just trying to think. So some of this is like, there's nothing actionable yet because we're not into goals or implementation. Those are like towards the end, if not the very end, so just kind of related to that. Assessment of current infrastructure capacity, that wasn't within our scope, so weren't going to do it. That, I mean, that sounds like, that could be an additional scope item for additional cost or another, you know, another project for another study, so I'll just kind of address that.
That was done by the city. That assessment was done by the city.
Is there, so anything else? I guess, so related to these things, I'm not really sure how some of them, is there just kind of comments in general? When you say boilerplate, like it's,
Right.
this is all very Manistee information, so I don't know how I would not have written it a different way, but,
On the stuff I'm looking at where it says the man-made lake was made about 50 years ago by sand mining,
Yeah.
I think they need to look into that date more
yeah, it was a lot.
because it was.
That's in chapter-
It's a lot,
okay.
it's a lot newer than 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I remember when the lake formed, and I'm just a bit older than 50 years, and the lake was not in existence. I still remember the sand dunes before they manned it out of there. Roger probably remembers all those.
I don't remember nothing. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
remember a thing. I don't remember.
Yeah, there used to be all this sand up there, and
Used to ride the sand belt, god darn right.
I sure did. And
Yep.
swam in that lake.
that would be.
Only at night.
That would be something we need to look at from get with Mark Feder on.
Yeah, Mark Feder would help us there.
He could help you with the date on that, how long before the sand mining ceased.
who's that?
Mark
Federer, the-
Historical.
He's from the museum.
Historical.
Teresa can put you in touch with him.
Teresa can give you the contacts and
Yep.
information.
Okay,
Yeah.
Teresa,
I was always told that Henry
Yeah.
Ford made Man-made lake by taking the sand to make glass for the cars.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
And
it's,
that's how that was formed.
Yeah, that sand mining was,
Yeah.
the same thing's happening up in Harrietta.
But that, I mean,
Okay.
that started a long time.
are there any other comments related to chapter 2 that aren't here that someone wants to make? No, okay, moving on. Chapter 3, we'll clean up the hydrology in terms of the lakes and the rivers and making that clear. We can't rename a lake, so we're not gonna do that. Sorry about the typo for Manistee, we'll go through that as well.
Yeah.
It's good to point those out. Know that at this point, we have an editor that goes through it later as well, so we'll have a couple rounds of people looking through it, but feel free. Page 8, sand dunes called barren. So that is in, I was looking at that during, earlier. So this is it's called.
Right there, page 8.
This is the National
Oh, there's
Land
not,
Cover
but it
Data
just
Set.
says right here,
They're
page
looking
8.
at land as
Page
related
8,
to being
sorry. Oh,
urban
that's
or
okay.
not urban. And it was just a way for them, it's a way that they define areas as developed or not developed. This is not like an ecosystem-based barren kind of thing, so this wasn't us calling the dunes, that's just the way that it's used for this particular data point.
Something you'll see that in other subjects, they kind of generalize areas.
Yeah.
Yep.
It may be something else, but for lack of a name, they'll call it that.
Yeah. So, let's see. The coastal zone management area, so not sure kind of how to address that particular comment, but again, like, we will be talking about goals, implementation, and the future land use map later. So I think that kind of that kind of comment will be addressed later on in the plan. And then groundwater, is that just sort of all oil wells need to be mapped? Do we have that information?
It's hard to get.
Yeah, it's hard. We have just an overlay.
Okay.
That's it, but not,
They're not that accurate.
yeah.
There's been so many wells that have been drilled and capped and filled and abandoned and nobody knows.
Yeah.
And then the lake level versus sea level. Sea level's not our term. That's a term for USGS. So we're going to keep it at, like, we're going to use sea level because that's just a standard
Term?
reference. Yep.
Right.
And then pictures. So actually, to that point, no pictures yet. Pictures will come in the polished draft. If you have high resolution photos that you love of Manistee, send them to Teresa. Send them to me. If the city has them,
Okay. Yep.
I've actually gone out and take some. I've gotten here early a couple times, and I've driven around to get familiar, but also to take some photos. We can only use what we have, so
Yep.
send them along.
No problem.
Teresa, you might want to get with Mark at the museum on some of the high resolution ones he has.
Okay, sure.
Some of the historical ones.
And if you have a bunch, I can send you a Dropbox link.
Oh,
and then
sure.
you can just upload them that way.
Yep.
So just that, and then
All right.
again, text heavy. We will break that up when you get the nice polished document, in months ahead. So and about water quality. If there's any kind of particular report that expands upon that you guys know of, let me know and we can take a look at this.
It was released last year, wasn't it? Jeff McCooley sent it out.
Just this year. I think.
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been not too long.
No.
And there's a brochure on the water right downstairs.
Sure. What brochure?
We have actually a published brochure that talks about our water.
The water report,
Right
water quality.
downstairs on
I will
the-
try to grab that my way out.
Uh-huh.
If not, I'll make a note and ask Teresa to send
Yep,
them to
I
me.
can send it to you. I wrote it down too.
Cool. Okay.
I got a question on
Yes.
on the issue with the Hampton Inn. I didn't glean that, so
Yeah, I was wondering what that meant too.
the CZMA and how that related to,
Back up just a little bit more.
Yeah, there it is. Coastal Zone Management Area, again.
Yeah,
I
Yep.
don't know what that means.
it's a interesting topic in itself.
We never did anything with that.
No, but I think Pam and I went to one of those,
We went to a couple.
couple
things, yeah.
seminars on it.
And
Yeah.
we're currently rewriting the beach master plan, and we're not addressing the coastal zone area.
Is that something that the master plan should mention or touch on or no, because it will be addressed in the beach master plan?
I think it's
or-
gonna be addressed in the beach master plan, so I think,
Uh,
no,
We
but,
had a meeting today and nobody mentioned it, so.
yeah.
It's something that I'll bring it up next time.
Is that with the Coast Guard? Is that with Sea Grant?
No, it's just about,
Some kind of land management thing, isn't it?
it's about managing the beaches, and it all started back when we started losing all the coastline with the high
Yeah.
Oh,
water.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
All those meetings started about that time, about how to.
Yeah, all along the
Yep.
lake shore.
Okay.
So, Not doing anything with it.
Yep. So there were no comments about chapter 4. So I just, so I guess, just a second. So chapter 4, I just want to kind of go through that real quickly. We have a little bit about the cultural historical features, a little super brief history, right? And then we've outlined where the historic district is. And then we identify different city services, and then we talk about the transportation network. So what we were struggling to get was an understanding of where Manistee County transportation Functions, we couldn't get an answer from them. So is it across the whole city? Is it a dial ride for the whole city?
Whole county.
It's the county.
Sure, and so the city, okay,
Yeah, it's part of the whole county.
Yep.
okay.
Countywide.
And then we have the.
Nobody picked up the phone, nobody answered email, so I just needed a confirmation.
So it's countywide,
Yep.
but we also have a trolley
Trolley.
that goes,
Where
that's paid for.
Is it a city?
It's city.
It will go out, it will go out of the city.
A little bit,
Yes,
yeah.
it will. Any place that requests it, they'll go.
Yeah, but it's more of a
Yeah.
tourist.
Is it used for transportation?
It's part of the dial ride system.
It,
Yeah.
it is used for some transportation because it will go up towards the beach and bring campers.
Right.
We also have a bus for Traverse City Medical.
But it's mostly a summertime,
It's a seasonal.
it's a seasonal thing.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And these traffic counts are daily? Is that what these are?
No, well, average annual daily traffic count, so it's the average,
Yearly.
it's the, like, over the course of a year, it's the daily count, but I mean, it's roughed out over 365 days, so clearly you're gonna have less in the winter, more in the summer.
Currently a new one going on right now.
We might be able,
I saw it
before
with
we
the stuff
publish,
yesterday.
Yeah.
we might be able to get update before we publish.
MDOT just put out some new collection areas.
Yep, and it takes them usually a little while to get this, so
Quite a while.
that's what we have. So then, I wanna come back to non-motorized transportation, in a minute, but then we outlined where all the parks are, and then I tried to get some information about the beach or the beaches. And if there's some information missing, just let me know, but that's like what we could get. But I wanna go back to the non-motorized, infrastructure, because I had a hard time, knowing where, where are there bike lanes, where are there trails, if that was important.
Sore spot.
And
It's a sore spot, yes.
so I mean, right, so our scope is not to sit here and do a non-motorized plan for y'all, but by the same token, if this information is relatively easy to, put in, I think it would be a service to you guys to do that. So Teresa, I can't remember in the email you said, all the red stuff was put in? I can't remember what your email said offhand. But anyways, I guess my question to you guys is that if somebody knows where there are actual marked bike lanes, with like a little bike dude, or it says bike lane, like not the guy with two arrows on top, it's actually like, you might laugh, but there's actually different markings are supposed to mean different types of facilities, and it's like the difference between a neighborhood road and a highway. So when it comes to bike infrastructure, the different facilities are like, they're supposed to have different meanings.
Our
I get-
bike lanes are almost non-existent.
So then, so if, I'll check out Teresa's email, but if you guys know there are any other places or either other trails, if you could share that to Teresa, then we can actually have that.
Numbered bike routes through town.
Right.
Because you'll see.
There's not always a
Bike
There's
lane,
not a lane, but
Bike routes are different than bike lanes, because a route means a bicycle, hey, you can go this way, but a bike lane is like a piece of road where it's like,
Yeah.
Safety.
Yeah.
that, but also like it's an actual piece of infrastructure as
Right.
opposed to a sign that points to it.
Right.
So anyways, okay.
First Street has the bike lane blue lines on each side.
First
going
Street?
in.
Wow, yeah.
Okay.
There's one on First Street, but it's not all of First Street.
Yeah, not uncommon.
It goes around
Yeah, no.
little on Cherry Street.
and a little bit on Cherry Street.
Yeah.
And then, a little bit of one on, what is that one up by the cemetery, Veterans?
Yeah, veterans.
Parkway.
Veterans Parkway is a designated bike lane,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I've not gotten a lot of feedback from chapter 4, that's why I didn't have anything together for you, so waiting. Yeah, send it back out one more time.
Quick question. You said, so First Street goes around, you said First Street Beach?
Yeah.
Okay.
It goes all the way around the beach.
Yeah.
And then
Halfway up to
all
go.
through Douglas Park.
We've been fighting for years trying to get bike lanes.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm not,
Yeah.
yeah, we have.
a goal of this plan might be to have, a non-motorized plan, and that happens, whether it happens 5 years from now or 20 years from now as a whole, that's up for the city to decide.
Right.
But if we can, part of what we're doing right now is documenting the programs and facilities, the infrastructure that exists, so you can then understand what needs to be updated. That's kind of where I'm at. So, moving on to kind of, move this forward and get everybody home. So if there are other comments on chapter 4, pass them along to Teresa.
Alrighty.
What's happening now is I'm taking all these comments that you made, I will update the drafts to Teresa, and I send them back to her, where you guys can then review it and make like further comments. But we're trying to move this along. Not that I'm rushing it, but like.
Yep, got a process.
So essentially, make those comments when I send the draft back to Teresa, and then, we'll kind of wrap it up, and then kind of jump into process now. So the first, well, not the very first chapter. The very first chapter is Introduction to Master Plan, and that won't show up until later, because it's that is typically more general and boilerplate, like what is a master plan and stuff. But these chapters, 2, 3, and 4, have been about what the community, the state of the community. Then we're going to do that engagement, and then we'll go eventually over to the goals and implementation, future land use, that sort of stuff. So right now, where we are in this process is we're kind of take a pause on developing more draft chapters. We're going to be doing community engagement for the next month, 6 weeks. And then I'll provide a report to you guys, and then we'll kind of pick that back up. So from a process perspective, that's where we're at. And I'm kind of also then kind of wrapping up my my goals, my intention, my outcomes for today. So are there any questions about anything we've discussed or next steps?
Anything?
No, I'm with Mark.
Okay.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that, I'll work with Teresa and we'll be in
Okay.
touch.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think it's a marked lane.
Okay, we will move along to public comments, communication.
Public comment.
I don't believe there's anyone that wants to make a comment that's left, so we will move along.
Yeah, that's true.
Staff reports.
All right, I'm going to buzz through these. So MSU, your classes, got the 2 of you signed up. Then the class was full, nobody else could sign up, so you 2 were lucky to get in. Mary's going to get back to me with MSU Extension Office, see if there's maybe something going to be offered online or if they're going to offer it again, but she just didn't have that information quite yet and the dates and stuff. Next, I did do the block party, the TJ's block party. Andrew Stafford was not able, from the chamber, was not able to attend. He had a wedding that weekend, so I recruited my husband to go to the block party with me. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we had a blast. We each had a couple beers. We set up the booth. We had the police there. I had a bunch of swag that I had and what the police department had. People have a cocktail, are talking, and are friendly. I had great comments, and I think I shared that with you. Can you bring that up just real quick? So the next one that I'm going to be doing is going to be in the Fall Festival. And Council has said that she's going to sit with me for the Fall Festivals for the trick-or-treaters. And what we plan to do is we're going to have our table set up and everything. And while we're there, we're going to have, instead of a,
Bottom,
yeah,
very bottom ones you're looking for.
yep,
That's the one we already looked at.
nope, that's the one.
Oh,
Yep,
thank
that's the
you.
one. So there we go. So what do you love about Manistee? Small town feel, the beach, golf carts, historical district, fire department, police department, Vogue, Riverwalk, tourism, local business, Ramsdale, the Vogue, hometown feel, Victorian Christmas, 4th of July. What would you improve? Let's look at those. Adaptable playground equipment for disabilities, repair the roads, affordable homes, more women's store, plus sizes, bring back festivals and close the streets.
Yeah.
Less short-term rentals, less deer, there's too much poop and ticks.
Yeah.
Yep. Coffee shop, open mic nights, Christian bookstore, jet ski rentals. I thought that was pretty cool. Winter sports like X trails and grooming trails. Finish the Gateway Project. Once a month festivals on the street. Close the street. Street parties, even in the winter, an ice rink. More parking downtown. Bicycle shop and repair rental. 5th Avenue beach water problems. regulate all rentals to bring the standards up, do the gateway, rooftop bar or restaurant, no more Airbnb, and Arby's roast beef. Bike paths and bikeways, make a train track into the bike track and a running path.
Yeah.
More affordable homes and apartments. So everybody had something to say. Everybody was jotting stuff down. I can't wait. So we're going to do the one, like I said, Fall Festival. We're going to have, instead of a duck pond, her and I are going to do a pumpkin pond. So the kids will pick a pumpkin, the number at the bottom, and they'll get a prize or a treat and do the trick-or-treating. While the kids are doing that, I got a hold of the parents or the adults, and I'm going to tell them, hey, pop up event, tell us what you want. We want that feedback. So we're going to have fun and do that. Yeah. Let's...
Good time to put those things you want information from people when they're cruising.
Surveys?
The survey.
Yeah.
The surveys, yeah. I don't think it'll be out in time for that. Exactly, but it would be nice. Let's see, other boards. Historical District, that is my other board right now. We had a couple of certificate of appropriates. Got a little mucky in the water, but we're getting through those certificate of appropriateness. A lot of people want to do windows that are vinyl, and that's not allowed in Historical District. They need to be wood windows, so we have that. My other board, I did get together with my ZBA group. All we did was talk about some general areas of concerns and maybe some ordinance reviews of some questions I wanted. Just some really good, fun feedback, and it was good to get the members together because we only usually meet once a year, but we did twice, so that was good. Oh, yes, thank you. So the big thing is that they brought up with the ZBA is the fee schedule. Like to really revisit the amount that it costs for somebody to go to the ZBA. It's $1,200. And so that's a lot of money, so.
It's incentive.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that was brought up, and I needed to bring up with all of you to talk about that when we go and do the adjustment for the fee schedule next March, April, May, when we do that for next year's budget, that we need to change that or look into doing that, so.
Yeah, what other communities our size are charging?
No, I don't, so that's a great question. We write that down, that I look into other communities of what the cost is for the ZBA.
Used to be just 100 or 70.
Now, how did it get so?
Well, I know definitely can,
It's expensive, but
Yeah.
I think it went up a couple $100 the last time they did the fees.
yeah.
Awful high, we got it up
Said
there.
it was to cover costs, is kind of.
Well, and I can get a breakdown of what the cost is. I mean, and the biggest thing is mailing. I mean, that's really the biggest fee.
Notify
Mailings.
everybody within
So
a,
it's justifiable for the cost.
Right, but even
Yeah, that's what we tried to do, is pay for the cost, but $1,600, that's huge.
$1,200, yeah, it is. It's a lot.
I thought that they had
I'm not-
justified the price, but I
what's
can't.
this last one? we had?
Well, and that also brings up the other one with the daycare being the $1,000 for that.
Yeah.
But that's a
That-
standard for any special use.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, so that leads me into, Mick and I last week were at the college, and we kind of sat on a panel and talked about childcare. And with the childcare, I think maybe you knew about this, but when Bill was up north in the UP, he got together with McKenna Group, and McKenna is one of them that actually bid on our master plan, but they had a grant that was to take a look at ordinances and to do some interview questions about Manistee and what our daycare is. I was the only one that signed up and did it, and it was free. So they came back with all this documentation that I'm gonna share with you that talks about all our daycare ordinance, what we need to change, what we need to review, where do we need the help in, what zones is it in, get rid of or possibly change the whole ordinance about daycare, have a set fee schedule just for that application, just a lot of great information. And since we're in the need of that, so I'm sharing that with other areas. What we'd like to do is get together, Katie and myself, the chamber, and also the Manistee Community Foundation, thank you, the Manistee County Community Foundation. We're gonna get together, and we'd like to be on all the same page for all the ordinances to be very similar. So let's say somebody did have a group or family daycare, they moved, but they're still in Manistee County, that would follow them, and we would all work on that together. So we're even thinking about writing a grant to do that, get zoning ordinance change, we do that, so that's kind of on the pipeline right now for that. So, and that was I was so surprised at that conference. It was great. I think they had 300 participants at the conference. It was great.
Oh, geez, that
Really
was
good input.
Credit for that, would you?
Oh, yes, yep, absolutely. I am going to get your permit list for November. I've just been extremely busy with the chill grant, and I don't know if you've seen, we've been rewriting the ordinances for short-term rentals. I've just had a lot, and then the master plan and all these other events. So that's on the list for November. Exciting news about the chill grant. We got the applications, they're out.
Yeah.
We've had 100 or more, 200 of them picked up by people. We did offer a class on Wednesday. Tracy and I taught a class. Only 5 people showed up, but we're estimating about 20 or 25 on Friday, so tomorrow at lunch. The 5 we did help was fantastic. They actually got their application already, all set, but again, it's a first come, first serve. They'll be there next Friday, and some of them are gonna do it by computer, some are gonna be there, so great input.
When is the class, Teresa? Next Friday or this Friday?
No, this Friday, tomorrow. Yep, from 12 to 1:30.
Yeah.
So,
Red
yep.
Cross is gonna be outside on the 9th with blankets and coffee for all the people lined up. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's a great idea, though. I'm like, yes, Mick, do that.
I think you're gonna be really, really busy.
It's gonna be a
Yes.
lot, it's gonna be like when they had the marijuana licenses, people lined up.
You think?
Yeah.
30, camping out.
Yeah, exactly. Next month, I want to share the PowerPoint. I should have done that or sent it to you when I did go in front of City Council that talked all about, so I need to do that with you guys. Sometimes I forget, give myself a plug of the things that I've been doing, so. I do have with me tonight a sign-up sheet. What I would like to take is everybody to kind of sign up. We're going to pair up, myself and 2 of you, and we're going to just talk master plan for an hour. You're all going to give me an hour of your time. That's what we're going to discuss, chapter 2, 3, and 4. And so I have the sign-up sheet, and we're going to do that. Also, October 1st was my 1-year anniversary. You've already been stuck with me a whole year.
Happy anniversary.
Here for a year?
Yes, a year already.
Really?
Time flies
Yes.
and you're having fun.
Boy, I
That's
guess.
right. And my house goes on the market tomorrow,
Oh,
and we're looking to move, so I know.
Oh,
You
man.
know, there's a house being built on Murky Road.
Probably can't afford it.
Habitat.
Oh!
Yeah.
Can you hook me up? No. Yes. That's all that I have. What do you have?
I didn't even know they could build up
Sure.
there. I saw it and I was like, they could.
Gorgeous.
I wanted to tell you guys, I am so sorry. I have never, ever been, I've had so little to do with stuff like this. And tonight it was a smattering of every single thing you can imagine, all on one screen. I felt horrible. I didn't know how to do this thing.
I don't know either, so.
Everybody.
Well, that's something for you to learn now, see?
Yeah, we will.
There you go.
I promise I will.
Yeah.
Did you get any information on some of the buildings that will be coming down? We talked about the other day.
Land banks.
The Brown Building on First Street,
Fifth Street.
timeline on that, anything?
Well, we have a breakfast club that we've decided to form with Mark and Bob, myself, Toby the blight enforcer, and Jerry the building inspector. So they'll be reporting to you, and we'll be coming back with that. And it's gonna be our group coming together, talking about things that are happening. So no, I do not have an answer for you, but you will at
All
breakfast.
right, that's good. Okay. That's very good.
I need the help, so, and I think that's gonna be great. Once a month, we're gonna do that, so,
Yeah, that's a good
yep,
idea.
yep.
All right, well, we'll
How about-
move on to members. Roger?
Yeah, well, maybe I talked to you about it already, south of the Catholic Central. Did we ever figure why they're dumping that clay out there?
No,
Where that sandbank is, you know?
no,
It looks like they're setting up for something, I don't know. I'll just
right.
That
Nope, and I
part is
haven't,
Just outside of the city limits.
yeah, it's outside the city, so it's just,
I was told that it's
Is it
Sing
just
Soul
outside of it?
and Menards were
Property on
gonna
the
go
Catholic
in there.
Central's in the city.
Oh my
just south of
gosh,
that
I
is Inspired.
wish.
Banks property.
All right,
Yeah.
okay. And that hospital went through that sale?
yep. So, yep, that all went through, but right now, the hospital, the elevator is a huge cost, and so they're thinking about taking off what is it, second and third story, and just having just the first story. Yes, and then right now they've brought in small, I just did a permit for this, just small, like the little schools, or buildings, stuff like that can just come on in and they put them up. They're gonna do that to get doctors in and to get the program growing, and then maybe have a first floor. So they're kind of weighing their options and what they want to do, but
Hospital not taking anything, why do we need room for doctors,
Yeah.
No, this is.
Oh, no,
the
this is
clinic.
for-
This is the clinic at the
this is
old
the
hospital.
clinic at the old hospital, 300 Care Center.
Oh, okay.
But they've been working, they've hired, I don't know, like 30 employees already. I mean, so it's busy. They got the security guard up there.
Yeah, I see that.
Been working with them. They're great to work with right now. Sign permits.
Drug in there.
Drug, yep,
Oh,
yep,
okay.
like rehab.
Okay.
Yep, rehab facility.
By the old Civic Club, I mean, the other building on Vine Street also? That
No,
was part of the hotel, or the part of the hospital?
They had AA meetings in there
It's
and
actually
Oh,
two separate.
no.
The same entity, but they just own two places.
not that I know of.
There's what?
The same entity that had just two different places they had.
Yeah, right, did they buy the one on Vine Street?
I don't think so.
No, I don't know. That wasn't part
that
of it.
says for
Oh, no?
rent, yeah.
Oh.
And then, how about the hill, they realize the condition of the hill?
Yep, and they're part of their driveway.
Yeah,
Yes,
their
it's not
driveway.
the city. Yeah,
Yeah.
they know that.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good, at least they sold it. Thanks.
Yep.
Marlene?
Good,
Yeah.
thanks, Mark.
I'd like to know what's going on with downtown development. We've got so many empty things, and the tribe tore out all that stuff, and it's been year after year, nothing's being done. I mean, their permits must have expired. I mean, what are their plans? What's the holdup? Do they not have the money, or, what are we waiting on?
I can find that out. I know Andrew did give a speech or a presentation to city council as part of our RC development, but also he was asking the community what are some priority sites and what's happening with them, and I know he's working on that. So we can see if he'll be here next time, and I can do that and find out.
Good, Marlene?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Shelley?
I'm good.
Okay, Pam?
Two things. On your list there, they were talking about the playground equipment.
Mm-hmm.
We are looking at the playground equipment and at the beaches and stuff,
Oh, okay, good.
about what people want to keep and what people might want to get rid of. So that is being part of the beach master plan. They're
Okay.
evaluating that.
Good.
So far, for sure, people want to keep the 2 slides and the rocket.
Yeah.
Right.
Mutiny if you got rid of those. It's like,
And the other thing is, I'm still having trouble with Trinity Lutheran.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, they adjusted it a minuscule amount. It still does not meet the ordinance.
Okay. And that's another problem. I'm not here at night.
Yeah,
But Jerry only moved a couple miles away because he moved here already.
Okay.
So I've asked him to go at nighttime, so I'll have him take a look at it too.
I'll be glad to have him knock
We'd
on.
like a water
All right.
pump in some of those playgrounds or.
oh, like a zero entry,
Yeah,
those
like
splash pads,
splash
those are
pads,
nice.
They did a couple of surveys this summer at both beaches, and a splash pad was mentioned. It's just where to put it.
Yeah.
And
Because
how
we
much
drive
it's
to
going to
Ludington
cost.
now for that one.
Yeah.
But you don't want it anywhere close to the beach.
No.
Because
No.
I've worked with splash pads, you gotta have high, dry place. And especially if you wanna use it in the wintertime as a skate park, which
Hey, it'd be better off doing.
in the Midwest, it makes sense that you can flood them in the wintertime because you already have the plumbing and the water, and then usually the bathroom resources.
Well,
back there.
I had suggested that park down on Fifth Avenue.
Or,
Sell some of the trees out of there.
Right, your Mark?
They say, well, it doesn't have water in that, but there's gotta be sewers and water.
well, next to the marina is also a possibility,
But that's such a hill.
Oh,
because they're looking at redoing that whole area, cutting off that road. That would be an ideal location, because now
Yes.
you have the marina, you have a bathroom that's adjacent, you have all the plumbing and electric.
And that's another thing that the beach master plan is looking at. A lot of the things that some people want down there require more permanent bathrooms.
Yeah.
So it's.
It'd be nice to have one down there at the Lions Park.
That was mentioned, apparently they're pricing out putting two bathrooms in there, but it's apparently extremely expensive.
Right by the water.
But I'm done.
Okay,
Those
Mick?
are my two.
Mick, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay, Bob?
I think somebody needs to get a mail carrying rack for her Vespa. And she's a hard worker, I'll give her that much. She does a very good job for Teresa.
Yes.
And she's been a very welcome addition to the staff.
Well, thank you.
Who are we talking about, Bob?
Cutie patootie over there.
Oh.
We'll send you a YouTube video for that
Yeah.
contraption order.
I was at the Little Caesars or Lakeside Social tonight, walking the property, and the stench of authentic
Oh,
is there again.
Yeah,
is it really bad?
it is. Every day I drive by
Yeah.
there.
I mean, I go in the morning at 7 o'clock to the gym and come back, and
And-
it's out, it's there.
And that was one of the stipulations that myself and Josh Glass had signed when we signed the permits to the state. We put all of that information in there, but I'm not sure what to do about it.
I would
vetted
suggest
properly.
we contact the state because they're the ones who are, that manage and make those requirements. So I would ask that they're permitting people to come and take a look.
Yeah, I would.
What they're
Yeah,
not.
pass it on to them.
Well, they've got the qualifications
And then
to do it rather than
with
not.
with our breakout sessions, you think it would help if we had somebody like Steve Brower pop in to a couple of these, Venture North? I'm just shooting off the cuff. Do we want city council? I talked to the mayor about having at least one council member here during those breakout sessions.
Do you mean for the master plan, these invitation to the hours?
Yep. I mean, let's get as many people involved as possible. So, I mean,
Well, and I wondered that, and Pam could really help with this. You know, what else could we do with the master plan that they're doing with the beach master plan?
We're
Coordinated.
a whole lot more with the master plan than the beach master plan. I'm very frustrated with the beach master plan. I think this is the first meeting since May or June. And right now, it was just kind of like gathering information about what people wanted. And it was left over from the two little open houses that they had, which I think were either the 1st of June or I think maybe the 1st of July.
Okay.
And we're just now getting that to us, and I'm very frustrated with them.
Well, what should we do with, like, in our breakout area? Should we invite specific people to this and have them come,
I'd
or?
like to see Bill Gamble show up here more often.
Okay.
I'm very frustrated that he's been here once, twice, maybe since he come to town.
Okay.
I would really like to see
he's
him.
addressed us once.
Okay.
So,
I really think he should be visiting us more often.
Okay.
And giving us a little input about what he thinks should be in the master plan. And, I mean, because we can sit up here and say what we want all along, and then city council can say no.
Yeah.
You know, and we've had no input from any of them about
that's
anything.
right. That's what I'd like to have, at least one city council. We don't have to worry about a quorum because it's two different committees.
Right.
So have a council member.
Sure, so I'll have each of you sign up here, and then I'm gonna send an invite to all of them and say we would like one of you with one of these, one of these signups. I think that would be great. And do that and put that out there and put them on the spot for it. Yeah.
And for November, for a speaker,
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking Barry Lynn from the airport, now that we've switched air service, air carrier, just to get some idea of what's going on there.
Bigger planes.
Okay. And I know Josh Glass said that he would come also. Yeah.
All right.
So
He said
we'll
as
have
long as
to-
it wasn't the 15th of November, he was good.
Okay, well, not even close.
Yep.
Oh, wait, can Can somebody revisit the deer culling situation?
Yes.
Leave that to me.
Okay.
I was the bad
There were
boy.
7 in my
Council.
driveway. I live on Second Street.
When I brought that up, so,
It's really getting out of hand.
it is. So,
I had 2 big
Okay.
dogs in my backyard fighting the other night.
well, let's,
They've agreed to cull geese. And I have way less trouble with geese than I do.
Yeah, I don't have any geese.
I don't have any geese.
Nope.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I'll let you take care of that one.
Okay, with that, I would take a motion to adjourn. It is 9:25.
I make a motion.
2 hours and 25 minutes.
And seconded.
Okay, don't go anywhere, you gotta sign up. Sign up.
I'm
Look
not
at
signing.
this.
I already
Right
did.
here.
Already did.
I already did.
Yeah.
Everybody else, sign up here.
Okay, fine.
The sign, that's the sign says a lot of their people,
Oh my gosh.
even ours.
Mark is grumpy.
Here.